Hello and welcome to the Growth Mindset presentation. I'm a Student Success Coordinator at SFA. I'm Shannon Morrison.
Hi, and I'm Kate Childress, and I'm also a Student Success Coordinator. And today we're going to be talking to you about growth mindsets and taking you on a journey to where you can potentially change your mindset or learn ways to adopt a new one. So to get things started, we'd like to share a quick quote with you that resonated with us. And the quote is here in the middle. So the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. So it's all about perspective, right? And so we're going to be sharing with you some new ways to look at new perspectives and the way that you can change your mindset. So some of you might have participated in our student welcome activity located on the homepage in your MySFA, and we would like to talk to you now about that welcome activity and how it relates to growth mindsets. So with some questions we'd like to ask you are, what were the questions about in the student welcome activity, and what did the questions involve? Were they just talking about one subject, or were they talking about multiple things? And what did you think the activity was about overall? So we'd like for you to spend some time in your groups discussing this and discussing a main point of, do you think we're born with fixed qualities and traits? So go ahead and pause the video and take some time in your groups to answer these 4 questions. All right, so now you've had time in your groups to talk about the student welcome activity and about if our traits are fixed or not. We'd like to introduce to you 2 mindsets that you might potentially have. So the first one is a fixed mindset, someone that assumes that our character and our intelligence is fixed and static. These students, they avoid challenges, they give up easily, and they might ignore some useful feedback to them. So the alternative mindset to this is a growth mindset. Someone that thrives on challenges, someone that sees failure as an opportunity for growth, something that can springboard them into the next level. So if you have a growth mindset, you might be persistent whenever you have setbacks, or you might be someone that learns from criticism. So today we're going to be talking to you all about this growth mindset set concept from Carol Dweck and how it can really impact you positively in your college career. All right, so to compare the 2, we've got the fixed mindset examples on the left and our growth mindset examples on the right-hand side. And I'd like to take a moment to say that our fixed mindset students, they really avoid challenges. They shy away from things that you don't know. I'd like to ask you, how many of you are taking a subject matter that you have never heard of before in the fall semester? A few of you may. And so it's important not to get discouraged from the get-go and to really embrace those weaknesses and embrace those challenges. Students with a fixed mindset, they're unable to handle criticism or feedback. Something that you need to recognize when you're entering into college is that you're going to have feedback and you're going to receive criticism from all different directions. So a great example I like to use on this is sometimes your English professors might want to give you feedback on a paper and how to improve for next time. But what happens if you don't take that feedback and you don't put forth the effort into making those changes? You're not going to get a better grade than you did before. So really learn to give and receive that constructive criticism and feedback. Focused on proving yourself. So a fixed mindset is focusing on only proving to yourself that you can do this. But if you're focused on the process and the end result, then that is someone that has a growth mindset. They're really focusing on the big picture here. If someone feels that they are threatened by others, the success of others more so, then they have a fixed mindset. But people with a growth mindset, they really are inspired by the success of others, and they use their brain for training. Every time they learn something new, they're adding it to their toolbox, and they are in brain training. All right, so I'd like for you to meet up with your groups and answer these 4 questions that we have here for you about the statements here listed on the left-hand side. So which statements listed A through D are a fixed mindset, and which statements are a growth mindset? So I'm going to place the video on a quick pause, and I'd like for you to talk to your groups about which statements you think is a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. All right, so we'd like to talk to you a little bit about the results, and statement A and B, those are your fixed mindsets, and statement C and D, that is our growth mindset. So after kind of seeing some examples and hearing some statements, will your mindset change?
All right, thanks, Kate. And so I want to ask you kind of a weird question, okay? Is your brain on fire for yet? Kind of a weird question, but I want you to think about it. So what is the power of yet? Yet is believing that your abilities can be developed, okay? So thinking, I didn't conquer this, I can't do this yet. I don't understand this yet. I'm not good at this yet. It doesn't work yet. This doesn't make sense yet. So yet gives you confidence that you can learn anything, that you can know anything, and that you can be anything, okay? So if you're tempted to say you can't, I can't do this, I can't do that, have the courage to add yet. And I promise you that will give you the perseverance to conquer all of those things. Okay, so now that Kate has really unpacked like what's a growth mindset, what's a fixed mindset, and you've talked with your group, I want you to think about which mindset do you have? Which mindset do you have not just coming into college, but in your life outside of school? Do you believe that you can do difficult things? Do you believe in all those statements that Kate went through? Do you lean more on the fixed side or do you lean more on the growth side? Are you the type that takes constructive criticism? So I want you to think about all those things and really just be honest with yourself. You know, where do you fall into? And do you think that you can make those changes and adopt those new behaviors to have that growth mindset? Okay, so I want you to think about this quote here on the screen, that failure is an opportunity to grow. Okay, you've been told your whole life probably that failure is the end all be all, that's your ending, you know, thing. And I want you to know that failure is your opportunity to grow. And so having that growth mindset, you can learn and do anything you want to do. You can reach the top of that mountain. And so challenges help you get there. If you look at challenges as something that helps you persevere and meet your goals and keep you on the path to success, then your whole life is going to change. Your whole mindset changes. And so changing those attitudes is really going to give you the ability to conquer everything you want to do in life. And seeing, you know, feedback as constructive and giving you, you know, the tools, giving you that tool belt to really just power through those times that are hard. Is going to take you to that next level here at college and in your life as well, with your friendships, with your relationships. And so, you know, if you look at others and you get inspired by their success instead of thinking, you know, being jealous or thinking that you'll never be able to reach where they're at, that's going to power you through to do so well here at SFA. So I want you to develop this motto of I can do difficult things. I want you to come into college having that mindset and that growth mindset that you can conquer anything you can put your mind to. Okay, so many times I think we find ourselves thinking, you know, we're failing and that's the end all be all. But we really don't think about, you know, redoing what we've failed, but with a different mindset or a different approach, if you will. And so I want you to look at this visual here. This breaks down learning styles. I mean, you've probably heard of learning styles before, but I really want to kind of break down to see, you know, if you can figure out which one you belong in. So I want you to just stop and just think about right now. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Are you kind of taking in every word I'm saying and kind of registering that in your brain? Or maybe you're like really zoning in on this visual. You're like, oh, I love a good visual. I like the red, blue, and yellow on this visual and the hands and the eyes and the ears. It really just resonates with me. And then I want you to think about, if you're behind the screen right now taking notes, because you don't want to forget anything I'm saying. And you know, you have to have it on paper to look back at, and you're writing down quotes in your book. And so I want you to look at this visual now and see which one you fall in. Are you a visual learner? Are you an auditory learner? Are you a kinesthetic learner? And so you may fall into all three categories as well. And so when you come into college, you really have to think about, you know, what kind of learner am I? What do I do best? What learning environment do I do best in? And so if you're a kinesthetic learner, you're going to want those hands-on experiences. You need to be taking notes, retyping your notes. You need to be walking and talking with people about what you just read in your class, and you need to connect those things so you have those experiences. If you're an auditory learner, you're one of those people that's connecting what I'm saying in your head, and you like to watch YouTube videos to learn things. You want to listen to a podcast. You like those one-on-one conversations, because if you're talking about it, you're learning about it, you're repeating it, and you're remembering it. If you're a visual learner, you're the type that loves those graphs and charts, and you love to see the trends. You love to see pictures and videos, and you like making those connections in your head. You probably love this PowerPoint. A lot of people maybe don't like this PowerPoint, but you love it. You want a copy of it at the end of class. And so I hope you can, you know, figure out which learning style you fall into. And I hope that helps you along your journey, that, you know, maybe you failed in the past, but it's because maybe you took a class, you didn't take good enough notes, and you're a kinesthetic learner. All you did was listen to the lecture. So take these resources with you into your classes this fall. Okay, and so now we're just going to go over, you know, some different, I guess, statements that you could adopt. And, you know, I want you to think, now that we've talked through all this growth mindset, of something in your life that you have had to learn. Okay, so think about, you know, maybe are there musicians on here? Have you had to learn an instrument? Think about a friendship, maybe that has grown from the time you met the person until now. Think about, you know, that growth. Okay, so think about a specific instance in your mind, maybe family, an instrument, a friend, maybe high school. And I want you to just look at these statements here, and just think about how they apply to those situations, and how those statements can carry you into being successful here at SFA and in your life as well. And so just looking at some of these, what can I learn from this? If you came into this presentation, or maybe orientation in general, and thought, this is dumb, I'm going to learn nothing. Well, what do you think you're going to learn out of this if that's your mindset? You know, it's good to come into this thinking, if I get one thing out of today, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be motivated. It's going to lead me to a path to success. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to digest it, if you will, and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to make that my motto. And so, you know, what information can you gather today? How will you follow through with that? You know, we're going to talk a little bit here at the end of your follow through. What is your motto? And so we'll go ahead and move on to that. Okay, so let's talk about, you know, we've talked about growth mindsets, and you might be thinking, this is all great information, but how does this apply to me? And so, you know, with a growth mindset, you really have this stronger desire to learn, and you want to participate more. You're not just the person that kind of sits back quietly, but you want to be a part of the conversation. And so I encourage you, especially with these breakout rooms, if you tend to just shy away, I'm really encouraging y'all to share and to be open. Ask more, you ask more questions. You're inquisitive, you want to learn. Learning's fun for you. And so those new things, those learning new things, it makes you persistent. It makes you want to achieve your goal. Motivation. So motivation is understanding the value of that extra effort, maybe that extra effort you put into that paper that Kate talked about, that you can, you know, take that criticism and go with it, and know that that extra effort is worth it, because it's going to make you persevere. And then motivation also means that you study more, you put more time and thought into what you're doing. And then resilience. You know, I want you all to be resilient students. Resilient means that you can identify a possible area of growth, that you can dig in when things get difficult. You don't just run away from your problems, but you realize, I'm going to attack these because I am confident that I can succeed. That you're open to try new strategies to find growth, and that your beliefs are open, that you can seek help from fellow students and teachers. And so these 3 benefits are really going to carry you through your time here at SFA, with your connections to professors. As long as you can embrace your weaknesses and grow from them, you're going to do so well here. So I hope you got a lot from those 3 benefits. And so now that we've kind of learned all these things, it's time to apply. This is kind of our applying part of the presentation. And so I want you to think about, these fixed mindsets here on the screen. Take a picture of them, really look through these, and you're going to discuss in your groups, how you can turn these into growth mindset. So take these statements. I'm just going to give you the first one. We're going to look at that. I hear often, I'm an academic advisor, that students say, I don't want to take math. I suck at math. I've always sucked at math. It's not my thing. And one way to rethink that is that math is a challenge for you. So you're not giving up just yet, but math is a challenge. And you're going to need, like we talked about, that extra assistance from your fellow classmates. You're going to need the extra assistance from your professor, and that you're willing to do that. You're willing to take that on and conquer that math is a challenge for you. So now that you have these statements, take a picture of them, go into your groups, and really just talk about how you can change these statements into a growth mindset statement. All right, welcome back. And so I hope that really helped you to kind of rethink those statements. And so I want you all to know that in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Their brains and talents are just the starting point. This view creates a love of learning and the resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. So this is from Carol Dweck. She is really the mother of growth mindset. And so I want you to just think about, what she's saying here, that believing in your most basic abilities to succeed is going to take you where you need to go. It's going to take you to your path to success and give you the tools you need to accomplish anything you set your mind to. Okay. All right. And so now I'll hand it over to Kate, and she's going to look at some more statements with you.
All right, so we've got 20 growth mindset statements here on the screen, and I'd like for you to look over them, but we're going to do a quick activity, and I would like Shannon to share her growth mindset statement with you all, and then I'll give a chance to share mine, and then we would like for you guys to do something special here at the end.
Okay, thanks, Kate. So something that has really carried me through my journey is committing to be a lifelong learner. I've always told people that I'm always learning, and I'm never going to stop learning. It doesn't matter how many years of experience I have. It doesn't matter how many years of school I have, that I'm a lifelong learner. And that has really taken me far, and it's really a quality that people appreciate. So I'm really glad that I took on that motto from, a while back ago.
And I'd say that a growth mindset statement that I really hold near and dear to my heart is the number 18 on the page. It says, I'm going to try a new approach. So whenever I come to a roadblock, or if I get into a rut, I think to myself, instead of giving up, why not just try a new approach? I think back to what Shannon shared with the 3 types of learning, with your visual, your auditory, and your kinesthetic. Maybe there's a different approach, a different way we can do this. So as you guys are looking through the growth mindset statements, there's a lot that you could combine together. I mean, you could even make one of these statements super long. You could say, I am patient, I believe in myself, and I am comfortable being uncomfortable. So maybe that's your growth mindset statement if you're passionate about all 3 of those areas. But here's what we would like for you to do. Take a picture of this slide if you'd like to use it for the next activity. But we want you to adopt a growth mindset statement to live by. Share your statement with us in the chat and discuss it with your group leader. One of my favorite quotes when working with growth mindset is mistakes are proof that you are trying. So if you're making mistakes, that's just proving to not only yourself, but to others that you are trying to make a difference. So I want you to go ahead now and take a look back at these statements and choose one for yourself. Adopt a growth mindset statement to live by, not only for your academic career, but for your life. And it can really make a difference on how you move forward and make decisions. So after you've adopted a growth mindset statement and chatted with your groups about that, we really empower you to have a growth mindset and to live with this growth mindset moving forward. And that way you can make the best decisions possible, and also have a great lifelong learning experience. Thank you so much for your time today, and axe 'em jacks.